The NBA season is here. Jalen Rose, I'm so excited about it. There's so much to discuss. We start with the big game tonight in the Staples Center between the Lakers and the Clippers. You have a bold prediction about the ultimate fates of these two teams in the Western Conference. What is that?
I do. The stage is set, just like tonight, except there's no Kyle Kuzma, no Paul George.
Mm-hmm.
The Lakers and the Clippers are everybody's favorite to be the best teams in the West, right?
Yep, that's what everybody's saying.
But let me tell you this. They will not face each other in the Western Conference Finals.
Ooh, there's some implications to that statement.
Let me say that again. They will not face each other in the Western Conference Finals. Here's why. Kawhi Leonard missed 21 games in recovery and load management last year. Paul George is coming back from 2 shoulder surgeries. LeBron James is going to turn 35 this year, and Anthony Davis has had a history of being nicked up. Therefore, they won't have the 2 best records. Teams like Utah, Denver, Houston have a chance to upset the apple cart. So these teams will likely meet in the second round of the playoffs instead of the Western Conference Finals.
I'll even go so far as to say that one of these teams might even be on the road in game 1 of the first round of the playoffs. That doesn't mean they're not going to be successful. That doesn't mean they're not going to win that series. I'm just saying because of the reasons you mentioned, the load management, the injury history, the age, and just the strength. The Nuggets last year were 1 game away from the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, and they got better. It is going to be so interesting to see how this ultimately shakes out with seedings. And you know what happens with those game 7s? Home team usually wins. Jalen, I'm going to the Eastern Conference for one of my bold predictions. The Boston Celtics are going to be even better this year than last year. Yes, I understand they do not have Al Horford. Yes, I understand they do not have Kyrie Irving. But here's one of the reasons why, Jalen, I know you're going to love this reason. Gordon Hayward. Don't forget the Gordon Hayward that you fell in love with, Jalen Rose. That pre-injury Gordon Hayward, that Gordon Hayward that used to wear a different uniform, he's going to be fully back this year without the Kyrie drama. They've got Kemba Walker, and they've got Brown and Tatum. And, they're a little thin up front. And his catcher can get you some buckets, but doesn't play a lot of defense. But I really think that the Celtics are going to be much better this year than they were last year.
How about this, Jacobs? I will go a little bit further than that. I think the Celtics
top 2?
have the best collection of perimeter players in the East. You didn't mention Marcus Smart.
No.
Also, Gordon Hayward has been an all-star. Jaylen Brown just got a new deal. Tatum should make the all-star leap this season. So that bold prediction, I'm riding with you, my brother.
I also think that they're going to add some depth when it comes to the front court. But I don't think this will be the roster that they finish the season with. Next, Jalen, you have an MVP pick.
I do. What'd you say about the Nuggets earlier?
It was like they were 1 game away from the top seed in the Western Conference last year, and they didn't lose any pieces.
So my bold prediction is the Nuggets going to be one of the 3 best records out west. And Jokic is going to be amongst the league leaders in points, in rebounds, assists, and triple-doubles.
Oh.
So therefore, Jokic has a legit chance to win the MVP this year in a league with LeBron James, James Harden, Greek Freak, Steph Curry, that guy that can't jump over a piece of paper. The Joker, my man, could win MVP this year.
You know I love the Joker because he has my body type. You know what I mean? You know I love the Joker because he throws fancy passes. You know I love that. But Jalen, I also love this pick, and let me tell you why. They love to spread this award around. You people that vote for this, and I mean you, Jalen Rose, for some reason, they love to spread this award around. It's happened for decades in my life. They always spread this award around. It's not necessarily to the best player, but they'll take the best player in the best team a lot, the best player in the best team that hasn't won it yet, and they would love nothing more than if you have the Nuggets in the number 1 or number 2 spot in the West, and you have Jokic carrying that team single-handedly like Giannis did last year, I could see Jokic winning MVP for sure. Jalen, I'm going to get down to it now. I'm going to show you right now, before Halloween, who's going to make the playoffs in the Western and the Eastern Conference. Here is who I have in the Western Conference in order. Jokic and those Nuggets, number 1. Shocker here, Rockets at number 2. Lakers, Clippers, Jazz, Blazers, Warriors, yes, Warriors without Klay Thompson, and of course the Spurs. What is your reaction to that prediction?
So, I know there are a lot of people that gamble on sports, and that's one of the things that each sporting event has in common, a betting line. So I'm going to make sure I give everybody a betting tip. Okay? The Denver Nuggets are a very deep, young roster, which means they can sustain an injury, yet they won't be missing a lot of games due to load management. The Houston Rockets, James Harden and Russell Westbrook will try to go hard for the entire 82-game schedule.
Yep.
And both of those guys usually stay healthy. They signed Eric Gordon. They still have PJ Tucker. I expect Capella to play a lot better. And Mike D'Antoni has always valued the regular season, sometimes to the detriment of the postseason. The Utah Jazz. Let me say a name that people don't talk about that might be the most slept-on offseason move.
I know what you're going to say.
They added Bogdanovich from the Pacers.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. I know you watch a lot of Pacers games.
Exactly. He can ball. He can dribble past and shoot with range and finish at the hoop. And they also added Michael Conley, who's arguably the best player in the league to never make an All-Star game. This takes so much pressure off of Spider Mitchell to now just go out and be special. And he improved as a playmaker. They have an anchor down low in Rudy Gobert. Fairly young team. All three of those squads I just told you, they know that they need to value the regular season. Because when the playoffs come, seeding is going to matter. Home court is going to matter. Who hosts Game 7 will matter. So therefore, I like your rankings by having the Nuggets and the Rockets, where most people are going to look at your list and say, where the Lakers? Where the Clippers?
Where the Clippers, of course.
And a sleeper that you got down there, Nurkic
this is hard.
Nurkic is going to come back for Portland.
This took me a while.
Nurkic is going to come back for Portland.
Yep.
And just like the East, the last few years, every time I look at the standings, nobody talk about the Pacers, nobody talk about the Blazers. Dame Dollar gets them into the playoffs every year. CJ McCollum falls into the category of Mike Conley of top players to never make an All-Star game. Those squads are going to value the regular season. They're not going to be load management, and they don't have their best players dealing with injuries currently.
It's tricky at the bottom. Like, I really want to keep the Spurs out. I really do. You know I want to keep the Spurs out. But they got DeJounte Murray, they've got Lonnie Walker back, and they've got DeMar DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge and, of course, Greg Popovich. I can't put the Mavs or the Kings in instead of that team. I just cannot do it. Now, let's go to the East.
I have the same 8 teams that you have.
Let's go to the East, my brother, to the East.
I like what you did there.
Celtics in front of the Sixers. That's right. I put the Celtics in front of the Sixers. I've got the Pacers in the top 5. It gets a little squirrely down here. Nets, Heat, Magic, and yes, that is right. I put the Detroit Pistons in the 8th seed. The second half of this, 5 through 8, took me a lot of time. That took me a long time. This is not easy. What do you think about this list?
I love that list. The Bucks with Giannis are going to be amazing throughout the regular season. I think Middleton continues to validate himself as a legitimate all-star. I want to see Bledsoe perform more consistently and a lot better, especially without Brogdon, but I like where you have them. I like where you have the Celtics based on all of the stuff we've said about them in the show. Fairly young team, and they're going to go hard for the regular season, which is why you have them ahead of Philly, who has to manage Joel Embiid's minutes and his games. And also, the dynamic is a little bit flipped. Usually, the young player plays minutes so the older guy can rest. In this case, Al Horford, the older guy, is going to have to play minutes so that Joel Embiid can rest. The key for them is, can Ben Simmons make jump shots? I'm glad you had Indiana in the 4th spot, because for those that weren't paying attention because he missed the playoffs last year, Malcolm Brogdon was 50 from the floor, 40 from 3, 90 from the line.
And plays D.
And he's an underrated playmaker, Jacoby.
Mm-hmm.
Now you bring back Victor Oladipo.
And Vic back, yeah.
Who also plays D. Okay, is an electric offensive player, a terrific finisher. Nate McMillan always gets his teams to play hard. I like where you had them landing. I like where you had the Nets landing in the 5th spot. Kyrie Irving, it's just Rucker Park. Where's Larry? Where's Larry? Between the legs, behind the back, oohs and ahs. We might get our Biggie statue up there this year. And Karis LeVert, and I keep telling you, the season ain't even started yet. You see who they already paid, right? You see who they just gave a contract to?
Mm-hmm.
Torian Prince. Most people gonna look at that like, they just paid him already? The season ain't even started. Well, for those that don't know, I spent a lot of time in Atlanta, and I got a chance to watch him when nobody else was watching the Hawks, especially when they got Trae Young. He can thump it from 3, and he's gonna be an effective player. And I like the term squirrely that you use. Orlando made it last year. My Pistons.
The Heat are going to be there. You never know with the Heat. The Heat could be in the top 4, or they could miss the playoffs. I have no idea what the Heat are this year.
And there's one more thing I have to say. Derrick Rose is a member of the Pistons. And I vividly remember last year him having a 50-point game, and so everybody was so very excited, and so many other people were so very surprised. He gonna ball this year, going with Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond.
We have some very interesting sound from both Adam Schefter and Jerry Jones, 2 of the best voices in football. We'll play that for you right after this.